be frank, there's been a more of a sense from the members of public in mainland Europe that the crisis in Ukraine isn't worth the pain. We haven't gone there politically, and we're all standing in solidarity with what's happening in Ukraine still, despite the huge pressures that that's facing, putting us under not just on energy but on a whole range of cost of living fronts.
All right. Tell me about the energy saving campaign. What's going to be in it?
Well, we're hoping that it's going to be full of common sense. You might remember that this was mooted by Liz Truss and then put on the back burner. But the content is plain common sense. It's practical tips to help people manage their energy bills. Given that they're sky high at the moment for geopolitical reasons, it makes a lot of sense to be urging people to do things like reduce the flow temperatures on your boiler, a quick change that can save you about £100, removing furniture and blockages from your radiators, trying to do common sense things like turn off the boiler when you're out of the property. Huge amount of common sense, and it's strange that it's taken this long to get there, really.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose every little bit helps, Peter, doesn't it? Although, I know a lot of people, I'm sure you do, who simply have used so much less energy lately. Some people haven't even started turning on the heating for the cold weather.
Yeah, that's right. And sadly, we work all the time with households that are rationing their energy use to the point that it's detrimental to their health and well-being, particularly conditions like circulatory problems and respiratory illnesses are badly exacerbated by living in a cold home. And we're hoping that the campaign that is put forward is aware of those issues and isn't so blanket that it further encourages households that are already being incredibly frugal not to reduce their energy consumption below the point at which it could be detrimental to their health.
Now, tell me, as we know, Elizabeth Truss, the former Prime Minister, for not very long, she didn't like the idea of this information campaign. She thought it smacked of the nanny state. And now, of course, the new Prime Minister, he has just gone ahead, let's do this, he has ordered. Does the idea of appearing to be nannying people, does that feature anywhere in your calculations of how to pitch the message?
Well, I do find that a very strange concern, really. And it wasn't so long ago that the government was prescribing almost every part of our lives in terms of public safety precautions due to the COVID pandemic, how close we can stand next to people, whether or not we can be with relatives at Christmas. There's a long way between that and giving people sensible tips to help them reduce their energy consumption, therefore, this cost at this key time.
And look, you'll have noticed, lastly, Peter, the tone of the British campaign is about saving money. On the continent, in Europe, it has a lot more to do with trying to invoke a spirit of patriotism. I wonder why that is. Is it about cultural differences, or is it a reflection of differences, on either side of the channel when it comes to the sources and uses of and availability of energy?
Well, it is big politics, particularly in mainland Europe, and they are perhaps more exposed than us to the vagaries of what Putin does with his gas pipes. And to be frank, there's been a more of a sense from the members of public in mainland Europe that the crisis in Ukraine isn't worth the pain. We haven't gone there politically, and we're all standing in solidarity with what's happening in Ukraine still, despite the huge pressures that that's facing, putting us under not just on energy but on a whole range of cost of living fronts.
All right.